Hello everyone, this is John for PokerVIP.com, and in this video we are continuing on with our Grinding the TonyBet series. I've explained it all before, but basically we're just playing as you would if you were a typical grinder, jumping into lots of different stakes games, getting the max value, and just trying to make the most money possible basically. As always, I've opened up the site and I've sat down on the 4 available tables. And that has today led to us playing 2 2NL, 1 5NL, and I've actually left a 25NL table here to try and start. And I was just about to say, I hope we find a fish who comes in on their phone, on their lunch break, and dumps off a stack to us, and that's maybe what we're going to find here. So to start off, we're just going to go ahead and peel with our Jack 9. Pretty standard defend there. Even if you 4x'd, I'd be defending. And we've got 2 guys here, both on their phones. That's looking good. And we're just going to fold the Jack 9 there. Not strong enough to float, really. Also top up enabled. 7 deuce is going to be a muck. We want to open a wide range of hands on the button, but certainly not 7 deuce. That should just be a fold always. King 3 suited, though, we are definitely going to go at it. A small blind and a big blind in there to steal, so it seems legit. Being 3-bet here, we're just going to muck. And you see just how quick that game started. I literally just sat down, and now we have almost a full table at 25NL. And they've all sat down full stacked, and they're all on their phones. I've spoken about people playing on their phones a lot, but basically, if you're playing on the computer and someone's playing on the phone, you will be concentrating harder than they are, and you will be seeing more than they are. It's pretty much as simple as that. So there is definitely an edge there. And obviously, like, a grinder will generally not be on his phone because he will be at his computer. So you can almost put them straight into the recreational sort of like lane. One thing to notice is this Bernhoff's guy has 3-bet me or opened every single hand since we started. So maybe just really aggro, really just wants to, get in the streets, play big pots and lose his money. So hopefully we can accommodate that. Top left table, just going to go ahead and isolate. Even though he's limped the button, even if he's only got $2, we don't really want him limping there when we've got ace-9 suited. We want to charge him some value, or even if he folds, that's not going to be necessarily bad. Flop the nut flush draw, just going to c-bet. Now, 2NL is the game I've played least of, ever. Basically, simple as that. I really just never come across 2NL when I'm making these videos. So we are going to adapt, we're going to adjust, and we're going to see how it goes. The ace-9, I'm just going to bet commit myself. If he jams, it's a pretty easy call, getting a good price with a gut shot, a flush draw, and an over. Here's a very weird spot, though, on the river where we're actually just going to have to check fold. I don't actually see him, folding any kings or maybe a 10 or even a queen. And we can sometimes win versus the 4-5 of clubs, but here we actually just have to let go, which is very frustrating. And he does just wake up with a king there. On the turn, we're not just sort of like betting because we want to get it all in versus a king or, a 10. We're betting that large because we think he could then fold a 10 or a 7. Never think he's going to fold a king, though. But even if he has a king, generally he's just going to go all in with it. We're going to call getting a very good price and getting the correct price and win enough times. But once we brick and it goes check, check, then that is pretty much that. Don't really see what I'm going to bluff him off on the river. Track and field because the Olympics are running. This video series, there's 24 parts, pretty much 4 parts a month. And we just play a mix of stakes. We've been up to 50NL, 100NL, 2NL, 5NL, 25. On a site like this where, you're not like drowning in traffic and, you want to play more tables, you're going to have to mix the stakes up. And that's exactly what you should be doing. I'd say if you're a 10NL grinder, you should be playing 5NL and 10NL and shot taking 25NL pretty quick. 5-7 we open, we flop a straight draw, so I'm just going to go ahead and start betting. Would be way happier if one of those cards out there was a heart, but we're just going to go ahead and start by betting, and once he folds on that, it's definitely a good sign. One thing that I have noticed is generally on lots of other sites when you're playing 2NL or 4NL or 5NL, lots of people limp, but even on this site up to 50NL, I'm seeing a lot of it. So just a lot of isolation raises will make you like good, consistent money over time. So a lot of the time you just want to be isolating in and out of position, playable hands, and then just playing, really well post-flop. Queen's here on the button. Then just go for a min raise. We could maybe even just 3x in 2NL as well, if we feel people are just calling a lot more frequently. But to start, I'm just going to go with the min raise. Being 3-bet here and, you know, 4-handed queens, 2-L, it is pretty much just a 4-bet get it in situation. I mean, that goes for pretty much every stakes, to be honest, with queens. So I'm just going to go around 3x there. He peels, which doesn't surprise me. Doesn't scare me either. He's going to just have quite a wide range, I think. So I'm just going to bet around 2/3 of pot. And obviously not think about folding. He does, however, just go ahead and snap fold. So we got some value there. A7 suited, I ISO'd and we get a call behind. And actually here's going to be a spot where I just check give up. It's a board which definitely hits sort of like a limp calling range and even just an overcaller. 7 on the turn does complicate things a bit. So we're now going to start betting because, well, nobody bet the flop. So we assume sets and queens are out of their range. So now we only have to worry about like 8s through to jacks. But 10s and jacks probably re-raise pre-flop. So I'm just going to bet there, protection value, and see what happens. King 5 suited I opened into 2 opponents. Both the blinds called. I'm just going to bet. I mean, we can basically bet here and get a lot of folds, or then just rep like a lot of turn cards. You know, any jacks, queens, kings, or aces are obviously just great for us, and not good for these guys. 4's a really bad card. Like, that's a card I will opt to check, and then basically hope to rep something on the river, or maybe improve, or just give up. And I think here we just have to check give up. Yeah. We just never get in that hand to fold. You gotta know when to fold them. Six nine suited here. It's pretty close. I guess we just start by opening and see what he does. Yeah, check fold 6, that's nice. Ace 10 versus ace 3 all in there. And you know already what we're doing down top right here with the ace king and the reasons why. Gonna get some value off this limper. Been overcalled from the big blind. So this could be interesting post flop, but we've been called by both. Gonna just go ahead and min raise my kings on the other table as well. I'm actually gonna bet this. I've got the king of hearts, I've got 2 overs. Get a very quick call there by Skibus. And I'm just going to basically just start milking him now and just, you know, bet really small on the turn and jam that any river. Not too scared if a heart comes. Not too scared that he's got me beat. I just wanted to basically build the pot so it was like sizably larger than his stack. So we can just jam the river and give him a better price. He snap folds us, so maybe had a flush draw or a straight draw like a 7-8 or 5-7. But I think we got some nice value there. 9-10 suited, we're going to go ahead and call in position. Queen 6, we're going to fold there. Good flop for us. And we're still going to isolate here, top right. You know, very playable hand in position, always a good thing. He checks, I bet. If he check raises, it's very easy for us to play. We just call because we have top pair and all the back doors. 7-9 here, pretty interesting flop. One that I think, you know, is better to just go ahead and bet. And if he raises, we would just ship it in because we can get it in versus draws like a Jack X, maybe even a 7X, some diamonds. He calls pretty quick. We see an ace on the turn. You can have some ace rags or ace 8s or ace 9s or something. I think we just carry on betting though. Good card for us to bluff. You know, say you did have a 10 and we can start to get him to fold it. Jack, Queen, bottom left. Oh, he calls again. Jack, Queen, bottom left. We're just going to go ahead and bet our gut shot on 2 overs. And now top right, I'm just going to go to showdown. And we do beat the King Jack. Getting some nice value there. No need to bluff or vibe at the river. Get a call, and again, it's one of those cards that now, like, we just very rarely get him to fold anything he called with on flop. So I'm going to check and just hope to improve on the river. And when I don't, I'm just going to fold or check back. Six, 7 suited, raisey daisy. Ace Jack, we've been squeezed. I'm just going to go ahead and fold for now. This guy hasn't played any hands since we've sat down. You know, calling behind doesn't really feel great. You know, going for the 4-bet doesn't feel that great. So I think just, you know, getting out of the way is fine. 6-0 I'm happy to go ahead and bet once here. And if I get called, I'm just going to be done. But we're just going to get a lot of hands to fold because, you know, anything but a king or a queen or maybe a big draw will fold. Sorry, they're the only hands that would call and continue. The rest are just going to get out of there. 10 deuce, we're just going to check. If he just like continually like limps blind versus blind, then we'll start like raising, just at any two. But really just depends how he plays. Gonna just check down here with my 10. I think I'm gonna be good a decent amount of the time. Oh well, yeah, we see that he has 4-6, so now we can just start raising him. King's good flop, over pair, flush draw. Okay, quick call there. 8 on the turn, not too scared of that many 8s. 7, 8, 8, 9. I think he's just more often than not going to have a 10 or some sort of flush draw. Calls pretty quick again, so now I'm putting him on like 10 jack, queen 10 with a heart. So I'm going to go pretty big here. If he jams, I'll go ahead and call. But he does just snap me off there with the worst hand. Sadly, he mucked his hand, so we can't see it this time. But I'm pretty sure it's one of those hands I mentioned. Even a hand like ace 10 maybe could show up there. Almost up at our stack there. On the bottom left table. All about exploiting people for the maximum amount. You know, if you know that they're strong, then you can bet pretty strong. If you know they're weak, then you can bet pretty small to get the call. You know, very straightforward thinking. Not everything has to be balanced in GTO in these games. You want to think about their hand, your hand, the flop, the board, how much is in the pot, how much you can get off them. They are the simple ways of thinking, and those are the things that are going to make you a lot of money in the long run. Going to just carry on checking my king 6. Arguments for betting, but I prefer to just go ahead. Try and get the showdown. Going to be a one and done with this 4-5 suited unless the turn's like the 6 of hearts. Going to just use his king 6 as a bluff catcher now. I think that's a better line to take than value betting it. Aces, and this is Ernesto guy. He knows that I am a Poker VIP coach, and this could help us when we have such a strong hand on the button. I've just gone for a straight up 3x here. We can even go slightly smaller to like just €2. But I think 3x is fine. I don't really want to go much bigger. Don't really feel there's a need to. I want him to call. I want him to give me action. I want to induce 4 bets. He goes ahead and calls, and we get a very good flop. And we are just going to bet exactly what we 3-bet to. 225 into 461. He makes a very quick call there. 9 on the turn maybe improves him. He can have pocket 9s. But I think his hands often going to be like ace jack, king jack suited. He might even be trying to like trap me with like kings or queens, but I'm just going to bet and I'm just not going to be folding. I'm just looking at my sizing here. If I bet 5, then I can jam the river comfortably. There's going to be about 20 in there. I'm going to have 16 back. Sadly, he's raised, so he's actually repping like a set here, but like I say, he could be so playing like kings or queens, so we just go with it and hope we have the best hand. Yeah. Quite often I would basically like never expect someone to show up with kings in that spot, but because he knows who I am, and he's obviously just thinking I can trap this guy. You know, this guy's just not going to fall to me. So he just got coolered. If I was him, I would have 4-bet pre-flop. Out of position, wanting to get value. You know, on this site, you know, you don't want to let someone get away from a hand like ace king or ace queen when they brick, or if they've got 10s or jacks, you don't want it to come queen high, king high, ace high. So he should just play it a bit more straightforward. But good for us. Didn't matter how he played it, you know, we got the lot. It's just a cooler. And I think if I do play my kings that way, then I'm not going to raise turn. I'm just going to call flop, call turn, call river, because if I'm calling with kings, I'm assuming that someone is just such a spaz. They're just going to donk off so heavy. So I'll just be like, yeah, call, or call, check, jam kind of thing. So Ernesto, if you're watching, that is just my 2p worth. Leave a comment on your thinking. That'd be pretty cool to hear. Poor guy, thought he had me. Not today, son. King 10, maybe should have raised there actually, rather than checking. It's strong enough to definitely go ahead and raise pre-flop and get them to fold, or if they call, then I think King 10's pretty good. And I'm just going to lead about half pot on each street and just hope to get some value from this guy. He can have some sevens, but I'm just going to bet half pot, and if he raises, I'll fold. But I want to just get value. And wow, he actually has aces. He limped with aces and just didn't want anything else off me. So I guess I'm lucky I didn't raise pre-flop there. But I would play that hand exactly the same way if it happened again and again and again. I would never stop. 10-4, he limped blind versus blind, I checked. And luckily we flopped 3 of a kind. We can think about checking, but for me it's always just a bet situation, like just bet the minimum and then bet pretty small on turn, pretty small on river, and just try and get value off him. You could have some queens in his range, you could have some floats. Might even have a worse 4, so I'm happy to just go ahead and start betting and just I want to build a pot, you know. 2 big blinds doesn't satisfy me. We do get a call there, and I'm going to bet a half pot on the turn. Don't want to scare him off, that's for sure. Half pot, there we go. Gonna fold there. Sadly he folds, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. Main idea is to just get money off these guys. Simple and as cutthroat as that. 6-7 suited. Interesting one here because of how short they both are. So I'm just going to call. You know, they just have very little money in front of them. So if I raise, they might ship. And then we sort of just like, you know, lose the value of our hand. You know, by just limping, I'm going to realize my equity basically. But sadly we're going to fold here because we get a really bad board for our hand. Jack Queen, we're going to raise. It's a really steady, solid grind, TonyBet. Rakeback is paid weekly. They have a 10k rake race. They have our 77k rake race. 2k deposit bonus. 1k reload, lots of good stuff. I'm going to ISO here with the 8-9 suited, even though this guy is short. Jack Queen, I'm just going to continue to bet around 3/4 pot with a pair and a gut shot. Isolation is a little dodgy when they get around this sort of like 30-40 big blind level. Something to just basically pay attention to. But yeah, he just goes ahead and calls anyway. Not a good flop for us, but we will go for a C-bet because we're not really going to win at showdown with 9 high that often. I think C-betting is better than delayed betting, just because he could lead out on a lot of turns and then we're just, you know, dead in the hand. So we're just going to bet here and hope he just bricked and he folds. Simple as that in this scenario. Gonna go ahead and squeeze the ace-10. One fold is good. He's the guy who should have the strongest hand. Albie's pretty interesting. You know, I don't think he's a strong player looking at his stack size. I'm just going to start off by betting my gut shot overcard and backdoor 10 high flush draw. He jams pretty quick. And we're just going to have to fold, sadly. Ace King versus 7's all in. And again, we're going to squeeze with the Jack Queen suited. We're a squeezing machine in the 25 and L. And this was the table I just sat down and started. And it's one of those things I've said to like everybody. When you're playing on sites with low traffic, if everyone just like looks at it and is like, oh, I'm not going to play, there's no games, then there never will be a game. You sit down, a game will start. You know, it's as simple as that. Bet my Jack Queen here. I mean, definitely prefer if there's like a spade on the board. but that is not, so it is what it is. And I'm just going to continue to bet here. Very wary of his stack size. Hopefully this looks strong enough to get him to fold. Because basically if I check, he's going to bet a lot. So I think betting, like we would if we had a set or a nut flush draw or an overpair is better. And I think that sizing looks very strong. I'm really putting him to a test with that size. And then basically river, I would probably jam any jack, queen, or 9 for value. Obviously, with the 9 is obvious value, but I think once I make a pair, I can jam as well, assuming he might have a hand like pocket 9s, a 10. Maybe even worse, like he's going to just hero me off when the draw misses. Jack, queen, min raise. Raisey daisy. See the bullets there, top right table, and someone has already blind posted and somebody has already open min raised. So that is setting up to look like a fun hand. Mac for True just sits down on his phone. They're all on their phone, that top right table, apart from Skier Bass. It's one of those tables you look at and you think, ugh, it's not like a great table, but it is. It's a fantastic table. All this money's free. Like, yes, they've all got kind of shorter stacks, but, they're on the phones and, they're all very weak players, so, it's a pretty awesome game to be in. Queen 4 we fold. Deuce 5 we fold. Okay, this is just really like a great looking hand when you have aces. Hopefully Rado just ships it. I mean, that just really makes our life 10 times easier and a lot more pleasing. Ace Jack we're going to open under the gun. Okay, so here now, what do we do? Well, we don't want to go too big, but we also don't want everyone to call. As nice as that would be to get money in the middle. So I'm just going to go 16 cents. We don't want everyone to call. We want to obviously just get it in with someone heads up, or even three-way. Once first guys call, this could be pretty bad for us, but at the same time, if you look at the stack sizes, the most we can lose is against this guy. Now it's like whatever, like post option is going to be a dream. Lots of money out there to win for us, so this should be a pretty awesome spot. If Rado ships, that would be fantastic. Definitely don't mind if he calls. Going three-way against two guys like 25, 30 big blinds. It's obviously pretty cool. Gundig is a VIP member, but against two people anyway, I'm going to go ahead and squeeze. Going to bet really small here, like really small. The pot's already big enough for me to like get, jam for like his stack on the turn or river. The board is just so dry that he can just often have nothing. So yeah, I'm just going to go super small, and try and get it all. And I'm definitely not scared if I like allow him to draw out by doing that, because he's just often going to have very little. So there he folded the turn. 9s I see bet, get a really bad turn card there. And I think we're just going to have to give up here. River not great as well. And yeah. Hopefully he's got 7s with no clubs, but I don't think I'm going to win this spot. Yeah, just King 10. It's pretty awesome that we got him to call a squeeze out of position with King 10. Just not good that he made 3 kings. I would say Claudio is a recreational player. And that's not been horrible. Just from what I've seen, I would mark him as, that kind of guy who's just having a bit of fun and not, too much of a strategy expert at this game. If anyone's watching on YouTube as well, hello, welcome. Make sure you go across to our site, pokervip.com. Come and say hi. Really good forum, poker school, coaching videos, articles, everything free of charge, no subscription. A7 we're folding. And Deuce 3 we're going to muck as well. Ace 10, good 3-bet opportunity here. In position, ace high against the weaker player, you know, blockers, all of that good stuff. Way prefer 3-betting over calling. He calls out of position, which is certainly not a majorly bad thing for us, and we flop. This is an interesting spot here. This is a very interesting spot, the fact that he's led. And I think we're just going to have to flow here with the nut flush draw, the backdoor nut flush draw. I want to fit this card, we're just not going to be folding. He could have us crushed, or we could absolutely have him crushed. It is kind of 50-50 with these types of players. So we're just going to call. Wow, he actually has ace-king, which is surprising. So we need a 10 or a heart on the second run. Sadly, we break. Pretty interesting. I didn't expect that. I expected a lot of like jack-queen with the heart-type hands. You know, pocket nines, you know, jacks, maybe like as a hand that beats me. But a lot of times there I'm going to be ahead. And if I'm not, I'm going to have some outs versus like king-queen. But so often I'm ahead there when I see those hands and it's just them blowing up and overplaying or, you know, bluffing randomly. Sadly though that time, you know, like ace queen with a queen of hearts, you know, maybe something like that. Sadly that time though, he had us like pretty crushed. We had, you know, a dozen outs or so, but not to be that time. King 10 suited here, really good c-bet opportunity when we have the backdoor straight flush draw. He calls pretty quick, we see a pretty bad turn card, so now we're just going to check. Would have bet like any 8, 9, queen, king, ace, or heart, but the deuce of clubs is just going to be a check fold. Eights, we flop a set multi-way. And we are going to bet 3/4 pot. Got to be careful here of any 6, 9, or jack on the turn. Any other cards are fine for us. We get raised here, which is pretty interesting. I imagine he's going to have like a pair and a straight draw. 2 pair, maybe just like a 9, possibly a worse set. So I'm just going to fast play this and hope to get it all in here. And I go 3x his size. He got it in very quick, so I'm a little bit worried, but yeah, I mean, we have a set, what we're going to do. And sadly, he does have that straight, and we break the first run. Hit the second, luckily, and we chop it up. He played his hand fine, I played my hand fine, like, what can you do? I think everyone played the hand perfectly there. Just a cooler, and we chop it up, poor guy. He makes a straight, and he doesn't win the pot. You can only feel for him. You can only feel sorry for the lad. 3-6, we're going to muck. Lots of action in this video, and when I saw that I was sitting at 2NL, I was thinking, do I wait? Do I start some other games? But I think it's been nice to see the 2NL games running, and we've done pretty well in them. We've just been steadily, you know, making money. The 5NL's been very quiet, and obviously the 25NL, we were lucky to get the aces versus kings, but then sadly that last hand has brought us back down to only being up a little bit. But obviously in poker you don't want to look at it like that. You know, little bits of money often are very good in poker, and you cannot win them all. Big pot here. I didn't really block much. Be interested to see these hands at showdown. Nope. King 3, I flop top pair, and I think we just go ahead and bet. And generally against 2, I up it to about 3/4 rather than half pot. If we get raised, it's probably going to be a fold. Being called, which doesn't mean much. You can have lots of 10 jacks, queen 10s, jack queens, 8 10s, 9 7s. But I'm going to check the turn to basically be able to call any river or be able to get river value. Because I'm never going to be able to get like flop turn and river value. It's going to be a 2 street type hand. And I'd also like to just try and induce bluffs, which hopefully this is going to be. Which it was. He just called with a6 and thought he'd bet the river. So that worked out really nice for us. Queen 7 we're going to fold. I'm actually going to call it a video there after this 8-9 hand, which I'm going to go ahead and c-bet on this board. I think half pot will do the job. If he raises, it would be interesting. He just calls. And I think we're just going to check here. Can have some king x of hearts or just some floats there. 3, not a good card, and it's a heart. So we're just going to check here and hope we win. Which we do versus jack queen. If I was him, I would have definitely bet that river. Like, that's such a good river for him to bet. So I think he missed out on a bluff there, and I would have folded. But anyway, that was another part of the Grinding TonyBet series. Please leave some comments, please leave some reviews, and I'll be back next time. Good luck, good game, and goodbye.